Hey guys, I'm Triya and I hope you're doing well. I'm also fine as usual. You all are welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today in this video, I'm going to talk about another book that I have been actually waiting for to talk about, and finally I am finally going to talk about this book. So the book is The Other Side of Silence, Voices from the Partition by Urvashi Butalia, who is a feminist writer and who is a social activist also. So, I bought this book in 2022, 3 years ago. Actually, at that point of time, our teacher gave us an assignment on the condition of women during partition, or probably I myself chose the topic among the ones that she offered us because I was always fascinated towards this topic, partition. Because when I was in my 10th class, and there was this whole chapter, the last chapter of a history book was on this particular topic, partition of India, and the suffering that people faced during partition and even after partition. Okay, so I was always fascinated to this topic, and moreover, this very cover fascinated me, intrigued me to buy this particular book, and I have no regret at all after reading this book. And I think this is one of the best books that I read during my English graduation era. Okay, so let's get started. So, this book talks about the silence, the long, heavy silence that was lingering on both sides of the border. No government, nor the Indian government, neither the Pakistan government had really thought about the condition of the women. It was all technically done, and because of that, a lot of women had suffered even more after the reuniting of the women to their families. Okay, so I'm getting to this point later. So first of all, I have to say one thing, that this book is a bit different from the other popular books on partition, because this is that I've already mentioned, that not a story, not a novel, but this author has tried to talk about all these women or people, not only women but people who had suffered directly during partition, specifically women, because we all know that women are soft targets. They always suffer the most. If anything bad happens to the country, women are the ones that suffer the most. Women and children are the ones that suffer the most. So this is why the story is mostly, this book is mostly inclined to talk about the condition, the sufferings and traumatizing condition of women. But why silence? Because even after independence, a lot of years have passed, and still the women or the people who were the real witnesses of this, the different heinous activities, who suffered a lot, who lost their relatives, their own mother, father, their child even, and who lost their honor, most importantly, who lost their honors, cannot even like you know share the feelings or share the traumatizing things with anybody, because even after all these years they cannot think about the traumatizing events that happened, and that is why a silence is always there. So this lady has done an incredible task to put all these narratives together in this book. There is the story of Vasant Kaur, Maya Rani, Arvind something name I cannot properly remember, and there is this story of Bhuta Singh and Jainab and others. So I have to share the story of Buddha Singh and Jainab because this is one of the most traumatizing stories from this book, and this is a tragic love story of these two people. Why? Because Jainab was a young girl, a Muslim girl. So after independence, after partition specifically, their family chose to migrate to Pakistan from India. And while they were on the way, she was abducted and later sold to this man who was from Amritsar named Buddha Singh. So Buddha Singh was really in love with her. I mean, he was unmarried, so he thought to buy this lady and get married to her. So after some years, they had two children together, and they were living quite happily. I mean, it can be assumed that they were living quite happily in their household. So Jana finally was accepting the situation, and she was living in a new identity, in a new home and new environment. And then, boom, the both government, I mean, both the Indian and Pakistan government took the initiative to reunite all the women who were abducted at that point of time. And unfortunately, this lady was also uh, looked for and found and was taken away from her then husband Bhuta Singh and was reunited with her previous family, and she was eventually married off to her cousin. So after the marriage, I mean, Bhuta Singh got like really mad, and he faked his identity and went to Pakistan. And after so many efforts, he couldn't definitely. It was government initiative. So how could he do? How could he bring her back? It was not that much easy. So he was failed in his attempt. He couldn't bring her back, and after like when finally he realized that he had lost the love of his life, he committed suicide by lying on a rail track. So this is one of the most traumatizing story. And this woman was not even like no woman was like no government took any consent from any women who were to be reunited, because after the initiatives there were some women whose stories were even more traumatizing than the story of Jana, because we don't know whether Jana was happy in her new life or not, but there were some women who were really living happily with the family, new family in the new lands. But when they were reunited with the previous family, the families themselves didn't accept them because they thought that they were uh, polluted, they were contaminated, they cannot be accepted because they were not pure anymore. So they didn't accept them, and the women finally had to either commit suicide or to live in rehabilitation camps. Okay, and there is this story of Maharani that is a bit different from the other ones, because most of the stories of these books are actually traumatizing or saddening, but the story of Maharani is a bit different. Maharani was a pretty young girl, like she was a child when partition happened, and she used to rob or loot from the people who were getting abducted or who were killed on the way to this country or that country. And there was this was a fun, like they were having fun because they were quite young and they didn't understand the the seriousness, the graveness of the situation, and they took advantage of all this. So they were really benefited at the point of time because they looted different things from different people, specifically the ones who were killed on their way. And okay, so if I keep going, this video will definitely be like elongated, so I don't want to elongate this video further. So the thing that I want to say, that when like I was in my last semester and our teacher gave this assignment on the condition of women, I was looking for resources or materials so that I can write properly, or so that I can research on this topic properly. So I at the front of I got this book, The Other Side of Silence, and I really have no regret at all. This book cost me a lot. The printed price is 3.99. Probably I got this at 3.90 or something. But this book, when specifically I finished reading, I got truly traumatized, because we all know that what partition is. This is, for me, the most traumatizing event in the whole Indian history. And I still think, what would have happened if partition didn't happen? Like, our lives would have been so much different, and probably uh, the the things that's still happening, migration is still in still in view. A lot of people are coming from Bangladesh, and a lot of people are coming in specifically in our state, West Bengal. That is why the population is getting too high, is increasing rapidly, and day by day it is like getting out of control. So it was, why partition was necessary. I still think that if partition didn't happen, all our lives would have been so different. And the hatred, the unnecessary hatred that we have towards each other, specifically with our neighboring countries, is really horrifying.